Jessica Gordon is an exhibit specialist with the Historic Preservation Training Center. Here at Arlington National Cemetery, she is going to demonstrate some proper techniques for repointing brickwork. She begins by mixing the proper type of mud for the work she is doing.
The consistency that we're going for here in pointing is a little bit drier of a mix. We don't want it to be too wet, because taking it from the trowel off, you'll actually make a smeary mess out of the brick. If you were laying brick mortar, actual bricks, you would want it to be a little bit more wet so that it's more fluid off of the trowel when you're actually laying brick. So we've gone for a slightly drier mix here. As you can see, it's not a ton of water to it. That will allow us to actually put it on our trowel and take it off with tuck pointers and effectively put it in the brick joint.
Next, she uses a trowel, margin trowel, and tuck pointer to fill the joints with mud.
So these joints have actually been what we call raked in preparation for pointing. In an ideal world, we try to go to 2 times the width of the joint. That's the depth that we want. That allows for enough mud to be put in so that it actually stays in position and secures the brick in place. These have already been prepped and have been pointed up to this point, so I'm just going to demonstrate how we actually point.
After joints are raked, the process of prepping them to be repointed involves thoroughly sweeping or blowing them clean from dust, and then moistening the area so that the fresh mortar doesn't dry too quickly, which would cause it to not bond to the brick.
We take our trowel, we have our mud that we've already mixed. We put the mud on the trowel, try to flatten it out a little bit, try to get it narrowed down to kind of the width of the joint that we're going for, enough to get it off the trowel. We take our tuck pointer and we, with a sweeping motion, go like this to actually get the mud to adhere to the actual tuck pointer. And then we just point it in the joints. And we like to build this in layers. So we push it down really well down into the joint, work our way across the joint, trying not to smear the brick face, even though this particular brick will be painted. If these were red brick that were not going to be painted, we do not want to smear the brick faces, hence the reason why we use the appropriate size tuck pointer that fits within the joint and allows us to push the mud down in. If we use something lighter than the joint like this, we're going to end up smearing it across the top of the brick rather than being able to actually place it inside the joint. You want to make sure you pack the mortar down in. You don't want to just lightly push it. You want it to go down in so it's solid. And we just keep building this in layers until we reach the level that we want, which is basically flush with the brick.
Jessica makes sure she is wearing the proper personal protection equipment throughout the process.
Typically on our project sites, we wear hard hats as a requirement as part of our organization. On this particular site, we're also wearing safety vests just because we're working with other contractors, and it depends on the site. Sometimes these are necessary, especially if there's roadway hazards. We also like to wear glasses just in case something flies up, especially when we're taking joints out. Not necessarily as big of a deal when we're putting joints in, but it's not a bad thing just to have them on as extra protection. And certainly we like to wear gloves, which protects our hands from the sand and the mortar. And honestly, if it's weather contingent, we like to have it on for extra warmth. So.